I'm Calvin Dila.
I'm Cole Dila.
I'm Shayla Dunaway, and this is my husband, Tom Dunaway. She's breezy, very breezy.
Welcome to episode 5 with LTD Sailing. Last night the crew anchored out in Tyrrell Bay, and the food at the slipway was amazing. After this awesome breakfast, the crew's gonna take on navigation. The class will talk about some of the differences between sailing a catamaran and a monohull, take a look at how catamarans are rigged, discuss catamaran stability, and finish up with some docking practice. They'll get in a nice afternoon sail to the next anchorage, Petite St. Vincent, where they'll celebrate a great day on the water with sundowners at Goaties Beach Bar, and then return to the boat for cheeseburgers in paradise. Goaties Beach Bar is great, but those cheeseburgers in paradise looked amazing.
Speed? What do you guys think we're gonna do for speed today?
Supposed to be average
What were we averaging yesterday?
6.5.
Yeah, close to. Let's go 6.5. What kind of?
Yeah. There's a lot of times that we had up to 8 for quite a while too.
There was. So that's our magnetic.
Oh, 101?
Call it 101. Yeah.
I want to go right here.
Okay.
So I just put it back.
Yeah. So as we steer down in a catamaran, it becomes more stable. Also, we're steering away from that wind, so effectively we're reducing the apparent wind. Where the wind that we feel is less as we turn away from it and go downwind with it. Does that make sense? So we reduce the apparent wind, we find the boat on a more stable point, it makes the boat more manageable. And then if we have to, we might roll up some jib, right? Put some jib away, sail on that jib, and then we could either put another reef in or shake one out on the main. But the catamaran isn't as good as telling us when it's overpowered. When we came in the bay last night, we were overpowered. We had a little too much wind for the amount of sail we had up. What signs, what clues did we have to that?
Heel of it.
We felt some heel.
Yeah.
On the monohull, how much do we heel?
Quite a bit.
Quite a bit, and it's normal,
Yeah,
right?
we
Like,
expect it.
like we might have 20, 30 degrees and it's normal, maybe even more. On the catamaran, if we have 10 degrees of heel consistently, that's too much, right? You might, like when we're out doing the crossing and we felt those waves that were rolling the boat, well that was okay, right? You know, there was just up momentarily as we went over the wave, the boat felt like it was heeled and then it came back. But when we were getting that big wind coming into the bay yesterday, that was a little more concerning because the boat actually had some heel on it, and it was like, okay, hey, it's time to think about putting a reef in. If the windward hull starts to feel like it's getting light, that's a bad thing, right? we don't ever want to lift a hull, right? We might do it in a Hobie little beach cat or something where we fly a hull. We don't do that on big cats, right? If it starts even feeling light, that's something we want to avoid. Yeah. It's very unlikely on a production cat that we would ever flip the boat. The engineers have designed them so that the sail area and the rigging strength should prevent that. But we don't want to rely on that, right? We kind of want to be careful with that. Another thing we watch for is excessive pitching or rolling. So if we got sharp waves that are really moving the boat a lot, if you imagine if one of the hulls came up on a sharp wave and the wind got under it, that could help really flip the boat over, right? We really want to avoid that. What gives us stability on a catamaran? What causes stability?
The beam?
The beam? Yeah, so the farther that we place the hulls apart, the more stable the boat's going to be, right?
Two holes.
The two hulls, yeah. So if we put those two hulls really close together, like in a narrow beam cat we were talking about, it's going to be very tippy. You can't put a lot of sail up or you're going to cause the boat to flip over. But the wider we put those hulls apart, the more sail area we can put up. And that's what gives catamarans their advantage with speed and comfort, is the wider we make those hulls, the faster the boat can be, the more powerful the rig we can put on it. Let's walk up front, you guys, and look at some parts of the rigging up here we can kind of talk about. If we come up to the mast, and we sight right up it. As you see, it's curved back, but it's actually also straight. And so it's the diamond stays, and what they're doing is keeping the mast in column. So the Seagull Striker, the design here is that we've got the load is being transferred up into this wire rope, martingale they'll call it, and that wire rope then transfers the load out to the fronts of the bows right there. So you can see it's tying into a very structural part of the bow. Underneath the mast, we've got a lot of compression down from the mast, and we're in the middle of the bridge deck, right? It would have to be massively strong to take that whole load. So instead, there's a similar structure under there that they call a dolphin striker. On some small cats or more performance cats, you'll see them actually just underneath the boat. On most cruising cats, it's hidden underneath. But what that's doing is taking the compression force from the mast, pressing down, and distributing it out to the hulls. We're just gonna come up there nice and smooth as we can, nice and slow. And we're gonna just bring the boat right up next to it. And as I look back, I'm gonna have one of my crew just step off. I don't want any leaping or bounding, no heroics. We're just gonna step off onto the dock and put that line onto a cleat. Once that stern line is on the cleat, if I just shift both my engines into forward, just click them into forward, the boat's gonna pull against that line and it's gonna hold me right there against the dock. Now I've got all the time in the world to sort out my other lines. And the biggest thing is just to, like in most of this stuff, just stay calm, you know, slow and smooth, slow and steady. Just come in nice and slow. Big speed, big crash. Petite St. Vincent. About to have some cheeseburgers in paradise. Burgers from Whisper Cove, caramelized onions, some bacon, some potatoes, grilled pineapple, banana ketchup. It's a cheeseburger in paradise.
In the next episode, the crew is going to learn how to do a cross-bearing fix. Who needs GPS? Time for some more docking practice and man overboard drills on a catamaran. It looks like the camera crew might have gone for a swim. Have you ever worked with paper charts? You never know when those skills might come in handy, and it definitely gives you a better appreciation for the chart plotter. Be sure to comment below with your experiences on charting.